Yo, boys, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing the good old-fashioned solo shuffle tier list, and it's kind of a different one. Now, a few stuff has changed, and it's kind of annoying to be honest. Um, there's a few classes that just easily outdo and hard counter certain classes, and if you face them with other classes, they don't seem as good. But then the moment you face them as the other classes, you just get stomped. Now, the first one that I've noticed, for healing wise, is going to be Evoker. Um, Super dominant right now. I'd say it's the best healer in the game right now. Uh, Overall, its two set gives them 50% equal, 50% on their hots. So in PvP, I'm pretty sure it's half that. So it's probably, it's probably not 50%. Hopefully not. But with their 15 to 20-second purge with fire breath, even if they have to cast it, nobody's really kicking it. You're not gonna kick fire breath. That is not gonna happen usually. And with their fire breath setup, it's pretty insane. And then obviously they have sleep. It's mainly their purge effects, their overall healing, and then their damage. Um, Resto Druid is it's almost, I'd say, impossible. This Evoker is the one healer that I've yet to beat. At like 2300 on every healer I've played so far. I've only faced Evoker every single game, almost 99% of the time. The only other healer that I've faced is Holy Priest. I've yet to face a Resto Druid or any other healer but a Evoker. And every time I face a Evoker, I get completely stomped. No matter how good you play, you just cannot beat that class. So Evoker is going to be the top dog currently. It's just insanely overtuned. Um, I don't know what they did to it, but it's mind blowing. It's like it's made me not even want to queue healer in Solo Shovel anymore because it's not winnable unless if you get a Evoker, like unless you face the Evoker this season, a good Evoker, like something that's not, if they're not, like they're not 1800 or 1900, you feel how strong this class is. But we're gonna go to the next class here with Dev Evoker is gonna be S tier. Another insane class. It's not SS, I don't think. Um, the main reason is it does unhealable damage, but at least it's like seeable damage. I mean, sometimes I'll see Evokers doing like 160k without even popping CDs. Uh, like if I'm playing with like a Windwalker or something, the Evokers are like you need to lock them down completely, or they just feel like they just do not stop doing damage. It's kind of like it's kind of like a DH in some ways, but that's how that goes. Good old fast. Had to shut the good old fashioned door. I probably won't even edit it out because who cares? Um. So yeah, I'd say Dev Evoker right now for Solo Shuffle, insanely good. Same thing as Pres Evoker. You're getting Purge. You're getting big burst damage. You're getting CC. You have a decent amount of cooldown usage. Obviously, if you don't play it good, you're not gonna have a good time. I'd say it's one of the better casters. So yeah, definitely a good class right now to play. And that's pretty much that. Next class here, we'll go with the good old-fashioned DK. So Unholy DK is probably A tier right now. Um, the reason it's not S tier is mainly because it's overall damage. Again, when you try to make a class, like a Frost DK, they're good, but they're also bad. So DK, if it's played correctly, they're pretty good, like in Solo Shuffle. Whether it's a Frost DK or an Unholy DK. The one issue with DK is they made it to where their burst, they're so reliant off you getting your burst that you don't really do damage off your CDs. This class is meant to do damage off its CDs. If you like, this is a bleed built. This is kind of like playing Assassination Rogue or like, you know, this is a class that needs to have overall damage. This class is not meant to be like a specific burst spec. When you make a class like an enhanced shaman or a sub rogue, they no longer have their, unique effect. And they kind of did that with Unholy DK, and it does have burst, don't get me wrong, but would you rather have a DH or a warrior Stalker, Feral Druid, literally anything else, yeah, you probably would. So yeah, there's that. Frosty is probably in the same category, maybe even B tier to be honest. Thing is, Frosty is really good with burst. I've played with a few Frost DKs. Again, the same issue with Frost DK is, um, they have really good burst. Actually, pretty insane burst. If you can get your CDs off and you know how to play Frost DK, it's very insane. It's kind of like it's basically a better version of Sub Rogue right now. Has a pretty good burst. You get the silence setups, which are really nice. The only problem with Frost DK is mainly, um, if you get stopped on your burst, you don't feel like you're doing anything for the entire 1 minute because your only job is to get your grip setups. Because if you don't get your grip setups and you just try to PvE, it's gonna feel like it's D tier. So this is kind of like a high demand spec. It's kind of like Sub Rogue. If you don't play it really good, it's gonna be trash. So it's kind of high up on this list. Obviously, the S and SS are going to be a high demand. A tier is more of like a spec that's good, but it's not good. Like it's a spec that you can play it if you're good, but like at one like it's not going to be no S tier. S tier is like for the top. So there's that. We're gonna go with Rogue now. Uh, Honestly, I haven't played Rogue and Solo Shuffle. I've only faced one Assassination Rogue so far. And the thing is, the only assassination rogue I faced was versus a Pres Evoker. Um, I don't know what I want to put this at, but I think what I want to put this at is, I'll put it at S tier to be honest. Um, the only problem with Assassination Rogue right now that I've seen, it has damage and it has, obviously its CC is not going to be great because the only CC you're getting is Gouge, and then you're going to get your Shadow Dance to cheap shot or kidney shot the healer. So every time you have Shadow Dance, you're just going to kidney the healer and then cheap shot the main DPS and just you're basically just garroting everything. Um, that's pretty much all the CC you're getting, and obviously blind. But so overall damage is really good right now. The damage is pretty insane. I've actually played it in twos. It's been very nice, which is how it should be. I think the one problem with CS Rogue is it dies. It's like a Pharaoh dude. It dies incredibly fast. If you're not playing with a really good healer, you're getting stomped immediately. It's yeah, it's pretty brutal. But overall, I think it's really good, and I definitely advise trying to play it. So there's that. Outlaw Rogue 8 tier spec. Problem with Outlaw Rogue is it's pretty much always what it's been is the damage just sucks. You have CC, but CC the only reason Outlaw is playable is if you're playing it with a class that's broken and somebody who knows what they're doing. So the comps that you're usually good with this is like Boomy Outlaw Rogue. And the only reason that works is because of the actually output. Like, if you notice, you haven't most likely faced an Outlaw Rogue yet. Now they are pretty good to be honest, CC wise. Like, if you face a good Outlaw, you're gonna feel like you're CC'd a lot. But usually off an Outlaw Rogue's burst, they're not doing any damage, and you're pretty much they're just relying off their teammates' damage. If their teammates getting trained, yeah, you're not having a fun time. You're either getting hard damped or you're eventually just like, bro, I hate playing with rogues. I swear to God, every time I play with a sub rogue or an outlaw rogue, they do zero damage and it's literally a 2v3. I do not like it. I would never put a rogue on anybody's team unless it's assassination. And even then, I still hate playing with rogue. So I'll put that at A tier. It's good, but not. I wouldn't advise playing it. Assassination is a lot better than outlaw right now. Sub rogue. Sub rogue is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. I'll put it as A tier just to put it as. Honestly, I could even put it at B tier. Same thing with Sub Rogue is. It's in the same category as Frost Mage, except it doesn't even have that. The only good reason Sub is good or like playable is if you put it with a mage, or you have to put it with something good. Like the problem is with these bad classes, you can put it with something broken and it can be good, but when you put it in solo shuffle, you have to think about the CC that it has and then try to like make it work out. So I think yeah, definitely A tier. this is not even be biased. I think sub rogues it's been bad to be honest. Its burst is just it's the same thing with Windwalker and Enhance. Obviously, Windwalker's burst now is really good, and same with MM and stuff. But it's kind of like Enhance. If it doesn't have the burst output to kill you in a stun whenever you don't have a trinket, and it needs to be able to kill you, these classes have to be able to kill you in 2 or 3 seconds. If you have no CDs and they pop blades, you have to be dead. And if you don't die during that time, that's why the only reason Sub Rogue was even playable was because Shadow Widow, you were able to die because they were able to kill you in that 5 second count. No, you're no longer able to do that. That's why nobody's playing Sub. Because you have to be able to, if you outplay somebody, which is in Shadowlands, what I do is, I get every CD and then I pop blades and then I kill them in a shadowy duel. Because in that 5 or 6 seconds, when they have zero CDs, you'd expect every class in the game on their burst for somebody to be dead in 5 to 6 seconds. But obviously, since it's a sub row, people love to complain. Good old fash. But yeah, there's that. Now we're gonna go with Druid. Druid is really good right now. It's just hard to put this at a spec, but I could easily put this as S tier right now. I faced a few heroes and they have been insane. They're basically sub rogues. They're a better version of sub right now. They have insane amount of pressure, but it's mainly they're non-stop cyclones. It's kind of like having perma sap up the entire game on every target. Never seen a spec, and then on top of that, they're practically a sub. They're a better version of sub rogue right now, I'd say. After the buff on their healing and overall like everything, to be honest, they're pretty solid right now. I'd say one of the better classes. Now, obviously, it's a high demand class. So if you don't know what you're doing, you're not gonna enjoy this class. However, I can see the point that it could also be A tier, to be honest. It's good, but I don't know if it's Evoker good or I think it's up against everything else, to be honest. I think if you play it good, it's OP. It's kind of like Assassination Rogue. If you just go in and PvE and don't do anything else, it's not gonna be the best. But if you do it, if you're kicking and you're doing if you're doing something unique, it's gonna be good. So I could maybe change this depending on we'll see. I don't know, but who knows? Boomy is a hard spec to do as well. Um, Boomy. Trying to think here. Boomy's really good, actually. It's hard to put it in SS because SS is like the rank where I want to put something else in. Should we put Boomy in SS? Boomy is really good. The problem with Boomy is if you get trained by two melees. Because if two melees versus any caster in the game right now, I'm trying to think of it because I played a Boomy to 2600, but I haven't played it this season, and I've only faced like a few Boomies this season. But if you put a Boomy with an Avilock or any type of caster or really any DPS, it can work. I'm gonna keep it as S tier for now, but I could easily see it being SS very soon. If not, if it's not, it could even already be SS to be honest. It's really good right now. I might change it at later on as I put more stuff in it, but right now I'll keep it in S tier just because I don't think Boomy's as good as DH or like you know yeah I don't know yet. We'll see though. Destro Warlock, um, I put it in A tier to be honest. It kind of just lacks the overall damage, and the problem is with casting specs, you had to make them broken. Like the classes that rely off your big burst cooldowns, like they don't have a big burst cooldowns, but they're bolts. It's so hard to get a cast off in this type of meta. You have to go through 9 different kicks, 9 different stuns, 9 different grounds, 9 different. It's just not possible. Like, and you have to be fake casting 24/7 to just be able to cast a single ability. And nobody wants to do that. And even if you did do that, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to do anything. Because you have to keep your immolates up. If you don't get your immolates up, you're not getting any shards. If you're not getting your shards, you're not getting any bolts. If you're getting perma CC'd and perma everything and perma trained, you're never going to get the chance to even get a bolt off. It's really bad, honestly. But that's where I'm gonna put that. Lock is obviously gonna be a top dog here, if not SS tier right now. I'm trying to think of like if it's S tier or if it's SS. Let me think. So Lock is really insane. Um, in every bracket of the game right now, Lock is probably one of the best DPSs in the game. Overall, its healing is crazy broken. Its damage is crazy broken. Overall, this class is insane right now. So I'm gonna keep it as SS right now. I could change it to S tier. I'm trying to think. The thing is, I haven't really faced too many of these either. So I don't really. I know I faced them in other brackets, but like I'm trying to base this off solo shuffle. But it is good. I know it's insane. The problem is I haven't seen any. Like the thing is, I haven't queued much solo shuffle. I queued a little bit my druid, and all I've ever seen is Prez Evoker and Rep Paladins and DHs. That's pretty much it. That's all I faced. The same three things over and over and over and over, and maybe like a few warriors. So I'll put it down to S tier, but do I want to put a Affy? I guess I can put an Affy with a Boomy. I mean, Boomy and Affy are probably. I feel like Affy's so good though. Like, I'll keep it there for a second, but like, it's kind of hard to put an Affy with a Feral Druid. Mm. But it is solo shuffle, so it's like, eh. And I don't want to put Feral at A tier because Feral is really good right now. I'd say it's way better than these classes, but who knows? DH, or actually, did we finish the one spec? Actually, Resto Druid. Resto Druid right now, if you were talking overall Resto Druid, it's SS. If you're talking in the current meta, it's going to be S tier. There's a reason that Resto Druid, you don't really see Resto Druid anymore. And there's a very good reason. Now, this class here cancels this out immediately. This is no longer existing if this is the meta. Um, I've on any healer I've played so far, this has been 99% of my games. The only other healer I've ever seen is going to be a Holy Priest or a Disc. I have yet to face a Resto Druid the entire. I've faced one Resto Druid the entire time of playing the entire game, unless you're playing like twos. Now, twos is broken, obviously. In twos, Resto Druids will always be the meta, even when they're not. Even when their healing's not even that good. It's mainly just their overall ability and everything. But as an overall class, I'd say it's SS. It has really good healing output, but with the current meta, um, Evokers will literally stomp on your, like, they'll stomp you immediately. You won't stand a chance. There is zero chance of you winning unless you're playing low rated and they don't know what they're doing. That's how strong that class is. And I promise you, if you look at my druid, I'm literally negative on my druid, and I have almost perfect gameplay. Like, it's actually mind blowing how good you have to play, and still it's irrelevant. At the end of the day, all that matters is you can go three. It's kind of like you can go 3-3 if you get lucky. That's how would this class feeling like. If I go 3-3, it's because I tried my life out. I've never beaten a Evoker one time yet. Over 2100, I have yet to beat one. I've yet to go 3-3 plus as a Resto Druid. That's how good that class is. So I'm gonna put it as tier, but that's pretty much it. Trying to keep this video as short as possible, but I like talking about it because a lot of people like to like. I mean, I like when you guys argue about stuff like because obviously I like to see your guys' perspective, but I'm trying to make sure you guys understand what I'm thinking at the time because something can change. So we're gonna go to the next one here. Holy Priest is another S tier healer. Holy Priest is really good. The problem is, do we want to put a Holy Priest with a Resto Druid? Is Holy Priest? I feel like Holy Priest is really good right now. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe I feel like with its angel form, with its overall damage, if you guys didn't know, Holy Priest has unhealable damage. Evoker healer does unhealable damage. These two classes are the best healer classes in the game for damage. Insane amount of pressure, insane amount of healing output, and they have really good CC. They have really solid defensives. Pretty good. I've seen a lot of them. So I'm gonna put it as S tier to be honest. I think it's really good, but I could. Oh, it's hard to put Resto Druid in the same category because Resto Druid, if it wasn't for Evoker, Resto Druid would be on the top. but I'm not gonna put it with the rest. Priest and Evoker is by far the best, and it's the best class that's ever been created currently. It's better than DH, better than its healing output and its overall everything is just god tier. But we're gonna go with the next class here, DH. Honestly, DH is still pretty broken. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm tempted to put in an SS. The problem with DH is its overall everything. It has a decent, it has a good utility kit. It has really good CC. You get like 2 stuns. You get your AOE stun. You get your small stun. You get your incap. You get your cage. You get your overall 40-second ascendance burst. So we're gonna put that as SS just because in solo shuffle it's just you're a PV nerd and you're just killing everything. And that's pretty much that. I think everybody already saw that coming. Windwalker, S tier, obviously. Um, Windwalker has an insane amount of output right now. The problem with Windwalker is the same thing with Assassination and Feral Druid. Is overall, if you know how to play against these classes and you use your cooldowns preemptively, and you just you actually rotate your CDs, you're gonna end up probably beating them. Like I've tried to heal Windwalker in certain situations and I haven't been able to heal them. Like if you face an assassination rogue or anything versus a Windwalker, and you're facing a really good healer, like if you put a Prez against you, and I wasn't even able to heal the output that a Evoker can do with like any other class. But overall, Windwalker is really good. It has really good burst damage, but it does die really quick, which is annoying. But let's keep with proceed. H-Pow. Actually, what do we got here? Mistweaver. Mistweaver is another good class right now. Let's see. I'm trying to think here. Mistweaver. Fisting is really good right now, and also overall non-fisting is really good. I'm trying to think here. See, there's a lot of good S tier classes right now, but I don't know if Windwalker is considered S tier. Because I feel like all these other ones can be questioned. The only ones that I question that could be just A tier is Windwalker and Feral Druid. But I personally face them, and if it just depends on how good you are. Like if you're a bad player, Boomy, Assass, like these classes won't work out because you're just gonna die too quick. Like these classes, you have to have really fast reaction time because you die incredibly fast. It's insane. But like if you know how to play just like a if you're just like a 2300 XP player, maybe 2100, these classes are insane. So I'm gonna keep it there for right now. I don't know. I'm trying to just build it off like overallness and not just like by a low XP standard. So HPAL is gonna be trying to think here. So HPAL is really good. Like the only class I've had trouble on is Prez Evoker. So I've been able to beat everything of this category except Prez. On my Resto Druid I can't be Prez. On my HPAL I can't be Prez. On anything I face so far, I have yet to be Prez. I can't beat it. It's just I can't go over 3-3. It's too strong. So again, I think HPAL is in solo shuffle wise. If you're playing decent, is really good to be honest. I know people like troll and say act like it's not good, but with your two set, once you get gear and you get your two set, it actually does a lot of healing. And you have really good solid CC with your Haj reps, Haj blinds. Now obviously it depends on what you're playing with. If you're playing with not so good players, no healer is gonna help you. So like you can be playing Pres Evoker, and if you're playing with 1600 players that just click every CD and they're just they have no idea what's going on. It doesn't matter what you're gonna play. That's just how it is. Every healer has to go through it. I've had to go through it. I'll probably be banned within like a day. I'm surprised I'm not already banned. I've said some words. This season, I've already said some questionable things, which I don't regret. But honestly, yeah, in solo shuffle wise, I think H-Power is really good right now. Um, People troll, but it's honestly, it's a fun class to be honest. You have a lot of utility. You have a lot of healing. Now, obviously, you're not gonna have as much as output as a Resto Druid or these other classes, but like your overall utility is pretty insane to counter a lot of people's burst. So I'm gonna say it's definitely S tier. and it's really good right now. Disc Priest, the thing is, I've seen a decent amount of Disc Priests on the ladder right now. So maybe it's S tier. I haven't really seen that many of them. Their overall utility is really good. It's kind of like an H-Bow, to be honest. The thing is, all these healers are really good. The only thing that can be argued is this. So Resto Druid and Predator Evoker are at the top, but with the current meta, this just cancel out Resto Druid altogether. You can't play Resto Druid while Prez is meta. You'll just get stomped. Like you're the only Resto Druid beats all these other healers, and then Resto Druid gets absolutely just like this isn't even a these two classes aren't even in the conversation with this. Like, cause these will delete a Resto Druid, delete every single one of these classes without pretty much no mercy. So I'm gonna keep that there to be honest. So all these healers this season, I'd say Disc might even be worse, but like Disc and H-Pal. But overall, these healers are actually really good. If Prez Evoker wasn't as overtuned as it was, these classes would be real like the overall. There's a lot of S tier classes this season. Now we're gonna go with the next. Ret Paladin. Is kind of a weird one to go through. I feel like it's SS, but I don't know yet. I'm trying to think. It has burst damage, has utility. Thing is, if you're not a good ret, you're gonna have a hard time. I'm trying to think here because it has everything you need pretty much. I'd say it has burst damage, has utility, has pretty good healing. I'll keep it as S tier because I don't think it's a DH type of level of damage. But with how good it is, with you have CC, you have everything with this. Like you have everything. You're pretty much just another healer with every other button in the game. You have Sank every 45 seconds, you have Sack every minute, you have Bop, you have Lay on Hands, you have Freedoms, you have Trinket for yourself, you have Bubble, you have Magic Bop if you want to swap from Bop. It's like, God, Jesus, how many cooldowns you want? So I'm gonna put it as S tier just because I don't think it's up in the DH rank. DH is really insane right now, just because of its overall pressure and Essence Break is unhealable damage right now. But I can easily see this being SS, but I don't think it's in that category. I think if it was like last season, right? If it was like season one of Dragonflight type rent where it was literally just one shotting, like if you guys remember that when you had 1 minute wings and you used to literally just one shot. So if you see any ret that's gotten Gladiator and it's in Dragonflight season one, you obviously know what. I think anybody that queued that was the best time to queue. I would have queued it if I would have known it wouldn't have got nerfed because that was the only time I was willing to actually push any type of rating other than Cell Shuffle my Sass Rogue. Um, the next class here, Hunter. MM is a hard class to put in. Is really good. It does unhealable damage. The problem with is the same thing with Walker. If you know how to play against after the burst, they're pretty bad, but they're not bad. I'm not gonna put it as SS just because it's not as good. But don't get me wrong, Hunter is really good right now. I think just all these classes they're up in the conversation of good. Hunter does a insane amount of like it just does unhealable burst dam. But I don't think it's SS level yet. So next class here, Elemental Shaman. Elemental Shamans are probably A tier to be honest. I haven't seen many of these. The only ones I've seen, I actually got one-shotted by a .6 from 75%. I didn't even see it coming. There was nothing. I didn't even hear a sound or nothing. I died in .6 of a second. That was the only time I've ever actually got one-shotted by a. So there's a one-shot button an elemental can run, and it's all based on like a. It's just like a fireball lightning one-shot build that just one-shots you from 70 or 80%. And it's like a 2 second. It's not, you can't even see it coming. There's nothing. It just if you're at 75 or 80%, it just kills you. But if you know it's coming after the first time, then it's pretty much just like okay, whatever. Because after the one shot, they're useless. So it's kind of like enhancement one shot, but I'm gonna put it as A tier. Frost Mage. Let's see. Frost is gonna be pretty good to be honest. I think Frost is just the same category as it always been. Its overall survivability is really good right now. With two blocks, you're getting high damp automatically with glacials. Overall, it's a really good spec. I'd say it's really pretty solid to be honest. And yeah, I could easily put it as S tier, maybe even A tier to be honest, just because it's like, yeah, I can see it as S tier to be honest. I think Fire Mage is probably A tier. So Fire Mage is A tier. Fire Mage has really good damage. Problem is you have to run Glass Cannon. With Glass Cannon, we all know you're gonna die. I think Fire Mage is probably the highest class in the game that dies the quickest is gonna be a Fire Mage. Not even a Pharaoh Druid. Pharaoh Druids are actually pretty tanky now. They're actually kind of hard to kill. It's kind of they're I'd say assassination rogues are easier to kill than a Windwalkers and assassination are easier to kill than a Pharaoh Druid. I feel like every time I try to kill a Pharaoh Druid, these they just don't die. Like for some reason their rejuve or like their healing in their bear form, they feel like they can't die when they're in bear. Like if they have their healing up, they ain't dying. It's obviously they're not a tank, but they can definitely die. But I'm just saying they're annoying. Fire Mage is definitely the class of the dying breed. It has the dam, but it's dead too quick. It's not even playable. I wouldn't even, yeah, if you don't play this at an extremely decent MMR with decent healers, yeah, you're gonna be dead in probably a few globals. Pretty much by any DPS in the game right now. So there's that. Arms Warrior, it's pretty much as good as it's always been. Um, I'm trying to think of where to put it. I think it's just thing is even if Warrior doesn't I put with Sicko, and as Sicko got gear, he's starting to do a lot. Like he's doing 350k MS crits, and even if he wasn't doing that much damage, Warrior is all about MS and dampen, and Solo Shuffle dampens really quick. So like once you get up to 50% damp, Warriors that's where Warrior shines. Once you have MS on you at 50%, there is no healing for you. There is just dying. So Warrior's always just that one class that's good for damp. Arcane Mage is getting pretty bad right now. A tier. Obviously, I think Unholy DK could probably be put up in low S tier to be honest, because I don't think it's that bad, but I don't think it's as good as these other classes. Just currently, based off of what's going on, but who knows? BM Hunter is actually pretty solid to be honest. I'd say BM Hunter is probably in the category of S tier too, to be honest. Uh, Problem with BM Hunter is it's just really easy to play, to be honest. With the amount of pressure that you're getting, even if you're not trapping 24/7, it still wouldn't even matter. As long as you're just PvEing, you're probably pretty fine. And as long as you know how to decently kite, yeah, you're good. I'd say BM is really good right now for bursting and pretty much everything. It's pretty much the same as it's always been. And then might outshine it a bit just because of its overall burst, but overall it's really good. Demolock, I'd say it's A tier to be honest. Solo shuffle wise, it's just an annoying class to face. Like it doesn't feel like its damage is overtuned or nothing. It just feels like it's like millisecond CC is just annoying. Like it's just an annoying class to face. Nobody likes facing a Demolog. Enhancement Shaman, same thing. Um, yeah, everybody already knows Enhance is kind of bad. Fury Warrior, same thing. Fury Warrior actually has pretty good pressure, but again, it just dies really quick. Just swapping on a Warrior in Solo Shovel, you'll get a lot of CDs, and if they have no CDs, they're just dead. They're good for damage, but otherwise it's kind of meh. It's whatever. Resto Shaman, trying to think here. Resto Shaman I think is pretty bad right now for Solo Shovel? Question mark. Trying to think. I haven't really seen any Resto Shams. I think it's good. If you're good at Resto Sham, it's good, but if you're not good, it's bad. I think it's the only healer that's getting outshined by other healers. I think if you play it with I don't know to be honest. Let me just look this stuff up real quick. Okay. Let me check solo shows. Okay, so it looks like we have one Wrestle Shaman. kind of just looking at it with you guys as we go. I don't care how long this video, you guys can skip. Okay, so yeah, in the first 100 players, there's 2 Resto Shamans, so that tells me enough. So yeah, I think Resto Shaman's not the best right now, but it's not the completely worst. So maybe low S. Well, I'm just gonna put it as A tier. I don't think it's as good as these other healers. Next healer SP is gonna be A tier. It's pretty garbage. Overall damage is not there. Um, Now if you put an SP with an Affy or a Boomy, it's pretty good. But like in solo shuffle, you're not gonna always be promised with good comps. Its overall has good utility, but its damage is just lacking. Especially if you're getting focus, you're not doing anything. It's so bad for damage. Even when you're not getting focus, it's pretty bad to be honest. Survival Hunter, I think is pretty good actually to be honest. I think all Hunter specs right now are S tier. Like they're good. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I could put Survival in S tier to be honest. Maybe. I'm trying to think. Hmm. I don't know. Do I want to put survival? I don't think so, actually. I'm not going to put it in S tier, and then obviously I'm going to put AUG in B tier because it's trash. So it looks like we have 2 specs in SS so far, like the best as in the God. Obviously the season just came out, so once more people get gear, stuff will change. Obviously you can put Druid and SS as an overall class, but since this is the meta, I'm not going to put a Resto Druid with the Prez if Prez completely destroys every other healer. So that's pretty much my tier list. Let me know what you guys think. I'm thinking if I can move anything before we end the video, but so far I think everything looks solid. Um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much that. Maybe Survival Hunter could be S tier. I don't think so though. I mean, just melees right now are kind of meh. Casters are kind of really good, and that's kind of that. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know what you guys want to see next, and I will see you guys in the next video.